she was intelligent. I married her because she was attractive. She was white. She was, she was intelligent. But I always felt inferior around her psychologically. And when she would say something to me, and I felt that she was putting me down, I would just go berserk, literally. And I remember throwing this wine glass, this wine bottle we were drinking out of, throwing it against the, just throwing it out, against the wall, making a lot of, made a big mess. But I found that this is the kind of habits that we develop. There's a book I remember called by Nancy Friday. It's a telltale book about human nature. It's called My Mother, Myself, about her home story, about how her emotions were a duplicate of her mother, how she saw things. I grew up Catholic, and being a Catholic, I believe I was a sinner, and I never found anything of a true. Uh, I didn't feel anything that I could gain, not only psychologically or spiritually, from the Catholic Church that would give me a sense of purpose and happiness. And so when I found this group, and Gurdjieff was mentioned, and I began to read In Search of the Miraculous, and I saw a lot of things in there that made a lot of sense. And the fact that we are asleep, and another thing that Gurdjieff talks about is that there are many individual eyes. Now I was wondering, what in the world is this? What in the world is Gurdjieff talking about? But I think what he's talking about, as I now know, is that, you see, I'm going to talk about Spinoza, because and Gurdjieff in the same series of videos. Because I found, like I mentioned, Gurdjieff was the foundation. But I found, after we read just the Search of the Miraculous, now also in the Search of the Miraculous, my late teacher, Gregory Grover, put together a preferred reading list. And that's what I have here. Basically, it's a list of pages, preferred pages, of in their Search of the Miraculous that we focus on. Because I tell you the truth, there's a lot in Search of the Miraculous. There are parts of it that I do not follow, I do not understand, and I don't believe in. I don't think, I don't get involved with the astros, the astral bodies, the planetary planets, the alignments, the numbers. I don't get involved with that, but I get involved with the beautiful part is about the psychology of human nature. And I would say that self-remembering is an idea also that Gurdjieff talks about. If first of all, we're talking about that man is comprised of many, many eyes. What that means, what I understand now, because I've read Spinoza, and I'm going to introduce Spinoza also. Right now, I just want to mention that we do have a website, and that website is called Living Spinoza, all one word, livingspinoza.com. You'll find Gurdjieff in there, you'll find Spinoza. But in Spinoza, he talks about desire. Desire is the essence of man. Now, I see this as, well, we have desires all the time. We have desire for this, we have desire for that, and we have desire for this. And I would say that each eye, as Gurdjieff talks about, is a little desire. For instance, you may have a desire to become, say, healthy. Right now, you love Big Macs, you love Wendy's burgers, or Carl Jr. burgers. I used to love Carl Jr. burgers. But and say that you feel that you might be 30 or 40 or 50 pounds overweight, and you're in your early 30s or 40s, and you find that your waistband is getting bigger. Your clothes, you find that you look in the mirror, you don't like to look in the mirror, and the summer is coming up, and you're thinking, oh my God, I want to work out. I've got to work out. I got to get rid of this. I want to look good in the bathing suit, and you're thinking, oh, what do I do? Well, I have to stop Wendy's. I have to stop Big Macs or whatever, and maybe I'll go to the gym. Okay, so you have this eye. You first of all, the eye that's operating. I love Big Macs. That's a desire. That's an eye. I love to eat potato chips or French fries. That's another I. But say there's a new I that says, I want to work out. I want to look good. I want to be healthy. These are separate I's. But they're small I's. And they don't have a force in them to make really strong changes in us. And so the idea that I'm sorry, see, I get confused bringing Spinoza and Gurdjieff. Let's get back to Gurdjieff, because this series of tapes is about Gurdjieff and how we work with Gurdjieff to change our lives. This is not just a study group. A study group, we just don't read information. We want to apply this information into ourselves. Gurdjieff talked about a steward in us, that we have to come to a steward, develop this steward I in us. The I, the capital I, the big I in us, has, in a sense, control and all other I's. It says controls their power. It tells the I, if it's an I that would benefit the whole individual. And this is there's so many wonderful things in Gurdjieff in the Search of the Miraculous. And thank you, Spensky. You're not here personally, but I thank you for what you wrote, because there is so much in Gurdjieff that in Search of the Miraculous that I find so valuable. The idea that, this I, that once we develop this I, and one of the methods of developing the I is by self-observation. There's another term that Gurdjieff talks about, self-observation. And the direction I talk, when I say self-observation, is to observe what you're feeling, observe what you're seeing, observe what you're hearing, observe what you're thinking about, observe your emotions. I know Gurdjieff talks about, going into the physical aspects of observation, but I'm not into that. I'm more into the psychology of what Gurdjieff was talking about. So I would say that self-observation, for instance, if you're in a dynamic situation, you're in your job, or you're in a relationship, or you're in your car, and or you're in a restaurant, or you're with your family or girlfriend, whatever, or boyfriend, whatever. The point is, there's a situation, you are affected somehow. For instance, I'll give you an example. You're in a restaurant. You might be by yourself. The point is, you're looking forward to your favorite meal. Say, I love chili rellenos. I'm Mexican, and of course I love all the Mexican food, but my favorite is chili rellenos, and I go on Fridays. I play golf on Friday mornings, and then I go for lunch over at this place called what's it called? I can't even think of it, but it's in San Pedro. It's a little Mexican restaurant, and it's called Tequila Casa Tequila. It's on Pacific, and it's a small place, and he makes the best chili rellenos, and enchilada, and rice and beans. And I just love that. And I do that once a week. That's my treat. Now, I go there, and I start, and first of all, my favorite cook is not there. Now I have an emotion. Oh my God, my cook is not there. That means I'm not going to have that same meal. And his name is, I call him Enrique. Enrique says, I've trained this cook before. If I'm not here, don't trust him. He'll treat you right. He'll give you what I give you. But when I heard that, when he said that, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if that's really true. And so Enrique wasn't there, and this new guy, I'll call him Peter. Peter was the cook now for that time I was there for lunch. And here I began to experience fear. Fear and doubt. I wasn't going to experience the pleasures of this whole meal that I've developed in my mind, in my emotions. And so, sure enough,